for downloading this episode of Cork Talk with me, Tim Atkin. A weekly conversation with some of the most famous people in the world of wine. Vicky Torres didn't make wine until she was 35, but she's certainly made up for it since. Her expressive, artisanal wines, be they white, red or sweet, are among the finest in La Palma and are increasingly sought after around the world. She's the perfect person to interview about the island's terroir, climate and grape varieties, as well as what it's like to live in the shadow of La Cumbre Vieja, one of Europe's most active volcanoes. Hello, Vicky, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello. It's brilliant to have you. I mean, I did a tasting with you recently in Spain, and I loved your wines. They're just so fantastic, and I love you as a personality, and your passion for wine just really shine through. So we're going to talk today about La Palma, yeah? And I think you're on La Palma at the moment. You live on La Palma. Obviously, you have the winery there. You've been in the vineyards today?
Yes, we are at the moment pruning. So, and this week we are here in the south in a vineyard called Las Machuqueras. That's where we are spending a bit of time.
And that's days. One of your favorite vineyards. I've tasted that wine with you. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Indeed. Thank you. Yes, it's one of my favorite places in the world, probably.
Is it? And that vineyard has been in your family for what generations? Isn't it 5 generations or something?
Yes, that's right. I'm a 5th generation now, and this is the time that I know that it's been in my family. So, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you, because you were born in Fuencaliente on La Palma, which is where you live and work today. And your parents had a little vineyard, didn't they, when you were growing up?
Yeah.
Did they also make wine?
Yes, absolutely. So wine, it's been in my family for generations as well, Tim. So I'm a 5th generation of wine growers, but also winemakers. And so I inherited the vineyards from my father directly, and so he did from his grandfather. And yes, they were making wine. My father was in the Apelación, making wines already since 1997, and before that, of course, bulk wines. So selling on La Palma as well as my grandpa. So it's the family business to say it somehow.
And do you have childhood memories of being in vineyards or being in the cellar? Because presumably it wasn't the only thing your dad did, because the vineyard was quite small, wasn't it?
Yes. Coming from a small island like this, the family economics has to do with several inputs, no? That's more or less how things are mainly arranged traditionally here. So, but agriculture was the main thing in my family. And yes, I do have lots of memories. We are linked to agriculture, to winemaking. So summers have to do with that. Going back to school meant going back to school, but also harvesting and gathering people together, either for picking or stopping with the feet, or using those old lagares. There's a memory that's stuck in my in my head. Yeah, those men, that technique, the rhythm, the effort, and the
sounds. Yeah,
the sound. Absolutely, yes. So a big thing.
Yeah. What else did they grow? Your parents? And did they grow bananas? Because lots of people on La Palma grow bananas, don't they?
Yeah, that's later on in the 70s. My father started also with growing bananas as well. But before that, anything that fed us, it's very much like owning land and growing your own food. It's been always that way, linked to this territory where we are in the south. So the soils are very poor, so it's limited the things that you can
grow,
grow here, because the soils are really young, no. But of course that is also was part of the parents' activity, I guess. As well as trading with cochinilla, the insect
It's a ladybird, yeah?
coloring, food, etc. This natural
Cochinilla, is it
pigment.
ladybird? Is that
No,
ladybird? I don't know.
no, it's not. It's an insect with a big belly that lives that lives in the cactus.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
This Mexican, yeah.
Ah,
So,
okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you didn't study winemaking, did you? I mean, you studied history of art at University in Tenerife, which is obviously the biggest island in
yeah,
the Canary Islands. I know
yeah.
you said you never wanted to do a desk job. I can't see you at a desk. But did you know what you wanted to do when you went to university to study art history?
Not really. No, I was passionate about art, and I guess I wasn't. I think of that, and I'm not sure if I'm being honest or fair with myself when I say that I probably wasn't brave enough to, to take a brush and take some courses into, I don't know,
Mm,
sculpting or painting.
mm,
No, so I,
mm,
I went for history. Who knows? But of course I wasn't thinking of what I was going to do afterwards. I
mm.
saw myself probably, I don't know, maybe researching or something like that, but
Yeah,
never
but
was
not wine. Not wine.
no,
No?
not wine. No,
Yeah.
wine was not in my horizon, despite the fact that it was in my family. And
Mm,
I think that's mainly because, well, one important thing is La Palma is a small island, so going to university means, leaving the island. So
mm,
that is when any of us could be maybe 17, 18. In
mm,
my case, I already left earlier when I was 14. So,
mm. Wow. You left at
so
14.
yes. So I
Yeah.
was already doing my, ¿cómo se dice? Like bachillerato. I don't know how to
No,
say
high,
that.
high school,
Yeah,
really. Yeah.
high
Yeah.
school already in Tenerife. So
Mm,
that was key, I think, in
yeah.
how I saw myself, no, in the future, I guess, and to maybe detached a little from the island,
Mm,
only coming
mm.
back on holidays, every holiday, of course. But I wasn't here in the daily life, no,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
of my family or see.
I mean, you did some interesting things. You know, you worked in a library, didn't you? Then you worked in a bar. So, I mean, wine starting, were you starting to get interested in wine when you were working in the bar? Were you tasting wines from Tenerife and La Palma and other places?
Yeah, I was. That's interesting. I was sharing a flat while I was studying with an enologist,
Mm,
my friend Maria Jose. So that was lucky. So somehow helped me to see my family's main activity with a different perspective, I guess.
mm,
So
mm.
I started to be a little bit curious about it, but I wouldn't say that awoke me, into this.
Yeah.
It was more coming back to the island, no, and the possibility of spending time day by day.
Yeah. And when did you go back to the island?
Um, it was back in 2007, I believe, or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I I thought I wanted to leave the islands, and I'm interested in architectural design and all that. So I was thinking that could be something to explore. So I just came back thinking I need to gain a little bit of perspective and breathe and then jump to another thing.
And
and
you started working in the winery, didn't you? And for
yes,
nothing to start with, you started what 2010 alongside your dad, Juan.
yeah, like
Yeah.
coming back meant spending time with my family, with my parents, and specifically more with my father. Like in my childhood, I guess I spent more time with my mother than with my father. And now I got to choose. So my father also needed a bit of help, and I got the chance to spend time with him. So that was an amazing discovery, and it's part of why I I chose this, I guess, because it was it was easy from the beginning to spend time with him and also to explore through his eyes and through his taste, um, his life,
Yeah.
actually. So
And did he teach you about wine?
yes, he did. he did. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
And
he.
viticulture as well, yeah?
No. I just want to say that like he was a gentle, loving father. So he had this thing coming naturally from him, to teach and and pass with love what he loved. He loved somehow, yeah.
But he was taught by his father. Had he been taught by his father? These generations of the family, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So in La Palma, there is no school for viticulture or winemaking. So everything is maintained by the knowledge transferred generation to generation,
Yeah,
meaning
yeah,
this beautiful thing, I believe, that you receive some knowledge, but also you are an active part of that history, passing to the
yeah,
next one. So it's required your active eye,
yeah,
and sensitivity, I guess,
yeah,
and also to interpret
yeah,
um,
yeah.
the circumstances, no.
I
So
like that idea very much. I mean, your father sadly died quite young, didn't I? Think you said he was 66, and you took over the vineyards and the winery. I mean, by then you'd already been working in the winery. Did you have an idea of the styles of wine you wanted to make?
no, I didn't have much wine culture at all. So to me, it was more about a path of understanding and discovering. I wasn't. I think that I wasn't even aware of so many things, But but I liked my father's wines very
Mm,
much,
mm.
and at that time I already understood there was differences between what he was doing and the ideas behind those wines and those more I don't know, standardized, I think, or more commercial wines that I found
Yeah,
were made already on the island, So
yeah.
from that point of view, my father's school was an amazing school, like keeping it simple, keeping it really close to the wine growing, no, and in that, in that, I
I
would
mean,
say.
I was going to say it's interesting that you don't have any formal qualifications as a winemaker. Do you think that's been liberating in a way? Has it made you not have to do things in a certain way?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I think, I mean, I don't regret not studying enology because I think part of what this is a safe place for me, winemaking, if it makes sense. Truly, I think no one was expecting anything from me. And if I had chosen to study enology or something, I would be very hard on myself. You know what I mean? And probably,
Yeah.
so for me, this has been liberating in so many ways. Yes, it has allowed me to explore, to learn by myself, um, to to learn through others as well, which is amazing, no, discovering this great community that in wine exists as well. So yeah, absolutely.
We're all friends. That's what I like about it. Listen, tell us about the Canary Islands, particularly about La Palma, because people who've never been there, and I've not been to La Palma, but I'm definitely coming to see you soon, don't realise how different the islands are. You know, Lanzarote, Fuerteventura, Gran Canaria, Tenerife, La Gomera, El Hierro, and La Palma, last of all. Just tell us about La Palma and how it's different from the other islands. It's known as the Isla Verde, isn't it? The Green Island. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so the Canaries, as you all know, is this archipelago very much in front of the Moroccan coast, uh, and just a few kilometers from there is this number of islands. Think about a zip closing, and
So
that's
zip closing, right? Yeah.
yeah, that's how they were kind of originated. So the oldest islands would be the one closer to the African continent. and the younger ones would be the ones farther away. So that
Which
would be
includes La Palma, yeah?
That's right. So
Yeah.
La Palma is the most northwestern of the Canaries, and it's very much and they have emerged from the ocean. So those are volcanic islands. And in the case of La Palma, it's a small island that's 700 square kilometers. But what is maybe significant about it is that it's a mountain emerge. It's just it's very, very high compared with the surface. So it's more than 2,400 meters high. So that makes it really steep. And also the fact that it's the most active island of the Canaries, in talking about volcanic activity. So that, makes us to have this landscape where you have like both these very old deep materials in the surface, as well as these new materials, where we develop life, very much.
And why Isla Verde? Is one of the wetter islands?
It is because of here. The islands are an arid territory, anyways. So it's really important that they are high, so that the clouds leave a bit of water. No, we are in the middle of the ocean, so that's an asset somehow. But the island is considered a green island because compared with the others, it's quite green. All of it. Even in the south, where where there's this volcanic activity been happening for centuries, so there's material over material, etc. So very much the soils are black, etc. But even there, where the species haven't had enough time to colonize, these new materials, you still have already vegetation, and that's because of these winds, the ocean, the mountain allowing that to happen, but also because the north and northwest of La Palma are really, they have a source of water. It's an important source of water underneath, so I guess we can talk about 4 different islands,
But La Palma is 4 different islands, is it in one?
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, interesting. And the altitudes vary massively, don't they? I mean, not just with your vineyards, but other people's too. I mean, vineyards go from, what would the lowest be? 100 meters up to 1,500 meters?
Yeah, it used to be, as it was a very important monoculture in La Palma, it was very much like from sea level, very much to where it could grow. So depending on where on the island, you can have vineyards at 1,500 meters above sea level, So it's pretty impressive, the range, I would say, in which it's grown. So that allows us to have like different varieties adapted here and there, or even adaptative ones expressed in a different way where they grow. So
I mean, Tenerife has these 2 sides of the island: the north side, which is cloudier and cooler, and the south side, which is warmer. I think La Palma is more east to west, isn't it? From what you said to me, which is warmer and which is cooler. And is that related to the trade winds, to the alisios, the easterlies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the alisios are these winds like blowing very much from northeast. So La Palma, because of its shape, this heart shape, more or less, would be east and west. The division being east, the coolest, where it has benefits more from these winds coming from the ocean, and then the other side, because of the volcanoes are like a cordillera, like a chain of volcanoes, make this continuous above 2,000 meters, dividing the island in 2. So the other side is warmer, less humidity. Yeah.
And do you tend to find more reds in the west and more whites in the east, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. I think very much the wine. The vineyards have been thought and decided in the past. So maybe in the east you can find at this 400, 300 meters high, amazing red variety like Negramol, really adapted. Then maybe now it's changing, but then it was an amazing variety, really adapted there. So I remember those wines as being like of depth, structured red wines, no? And was here in the south, probably white varieties, well adapted, like Listan Blanco or Malvasia.
Yeah.
Not only for dry, but Malvasia also for naturally sweets.
Your amazing sweet wine that you make, the naturalmente. Yeah.
Thank you.
And just say, when you said that it's 4 islands in one, are you talking about altitudes or soil types or the influence of the alisios, or a bit of everything?
Yeah, I'm talking about that. The influence of the alisios would bring us to talk about this east and west, really defined. And so not thinking about the soil yet, this influence of the Atlantic is huge there. So temperature-wise, I can't give you a number, but it's significant, the difference.
Okay.
And then the north of the island, the south is very different. You have the north being this geologically old part of the island. And by that, I mean that you have already, over the basalt, the volcanic material, there is already a chunk, like a profile, a deep profile of organic material, meaning clay, silt, and different vegetation as well. And because it's all there as well, the erosion has played a big part as well. So there, the ribines are quite spectacular. So, and that growing vine wise is a huge change, because then we can talk about these 4 islands because of that, like terraces, bush
bush vines, bush vines,
in the north, or in the south, like almost in volcanic tubes covered with the stones in the east, or in the south, over these ashes.
I've got to see it. Yeah, for myself. Yeah. Listen, just tell us about the volcano, because you mentioned this very active volcano, La Cumbre Vieja. What's a chain, really, isn't it? I mean, it erupted very seriously in 2021, most recently. Were you on the island then? Because it was during vintage, wasn't it?
That's right. It was in September 21, and we were in the middle of the harvest. And for me, middle of the harvest means that, because I grow vineyards, team, not only in the south, but where my winery is and where I inherited the vineyards from my family, but also I grow vineyards in the north. And my harvest lasts 2 months. So in the middle means that I'm already picking grapes in the north. And for that, I need to use one of the roads that the volcano destroyed, no? So
you couldn't get to the vineyards.
No, we had to change the route and go all around the other way. But I mean, that was a minor problem. But yeah, it was. I didn't have this experience myself before, but now, because of the sequence of the volcanic activity on La Palma, there is a generation that has seen 3 volcanoes, no, already.
Yeah, so 3 eruptions. Yeah.
Eruptions.
And does it worry? Does it frighten you? I mean, does it make life more precious in a way? Do you think that you have this big thing sitting? Well, how close is the volcano to you, to where you live?
That's a great point of view. I haven't thought about it that way, but I knew that I was going to see at least one in my lifetime. And I wondered many times, how would it be like? What would be what would we do? How would I feel if I would feel fear or something? But I mean, you're just in your daily life. We were not prepare, neither unprepare. What I'm trying to say is that, I mean, my school is in between two volcanoes. Like I've been playing all my life in these ashes, so it's a natural thing,
You just
But
live with it, right? Yeah.
yeah. But at the same time, and also for 5 years, there was like a team of scientists on the here in the village, like measuring. There was something happening, and we knew, but we didn't.
They knew it was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, we knew it was coming. The only thing is that you don't know exactly where or when. And of course, the island is more populated now than before as well. And that was the case. Also, where it erupted was a big thing for the island because it erupted in a populated area, also important for agriculture.
Yeah.
So that was a thing.
Difficult time. I mean, you own or rent 7 hectares in total, don't you? And I think they're all over the island. And you farm organically and biodynamically, but you're not registered or you're not certified for either of those. Is that right? You do everything by hand, are you in the vineyards?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. The plots can be tiny, or I mean, the largest that I own is 1 hectare, but I have some that are, I don't know, maybe really, really small, a few rows or something. It's really, really, really small can be as well. So how
many plots in total?
How many plots? 28 at the moment. Right. But I need to rethink my structure at the moment. But anyways, everything is by hand and organically farmed, of course. And
and everything's on its own roots because the Canary Islands have no phylloxera, right? Yeah.
That's correct.
Are there any grapes that only La Palma grows? Because there are lots of grape varieties that are shared between islands, Listan Blanco being the most obvious of them. Is there anything that's a speciality of La Palma?
Yeah, there are at least 2. One is Sabro, growing here in the south at an altitude normally in the southwest, altitude 200 to 400 meters, a white grape. Was very much used also not only for dries but also for naturally sweets, together with another one, a Portuguese one, Wal. And then in the north,
Wal is from Madeira, yeah.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And then in the north, one can find the beautiful Albillo Criollo as well, which is also a natural hybridization, on the island. I guess the islands have this the potential, because of the isolation as well, for this hybridization, throughout time. Yeah.
Across the vineyard.
Sorry, it's a 5th century history, on the Canaries.
And I mean, which is the most planted grape variety on La Palma?
Listan Blanco, for sure. It's this white grape. Palomino would be, in the south of Spain. So most of our varieties came from La Península, with the colonos.
The mainland of Spain,
Yes, mainland Spain. Also, and not only Spain, but also Portugal, We have many varieties also coming from Portugal. And I guess the second variety and first red would be Negramol, unlike the rest of the Canaries, where Listan Negro is the most common, and La Palma is Negramol, this Portuguese one.
And what else do you grow? You grow Diego as well, don't you? And Malvasia, obviously.
Yes, that's right. Malvasia aromática being that one, Malvasia de Candia, but also Vijariego Blanco or Diego, Listan Blanco, Listan Negro, Listan Prieto, which is a beautiful variety as well.
Which is País, from that you find in South America,
That's right. Yes. And many others, because the plots were thought and designed by by the wine growers thinking in their own wine. No, and it's really it's a field blend of an incredible number of varieties.
They planted everything together, basically.
Yes, that's it. See.
Do you have a favourite variety? What's your favourite variety?
I don't know. I don't think I can answer that. But I myself, I think I have several reasons to love some of them. But I do like very much Listan Blanco because it's a very transparent grape, as I like to think about it. It's really, really nice the way that translates the landscape where it's growing. No, so you can find this variety at any altitude, exposure, type of soil, etc. And it also adapts so well that it can grow horizontally or vertically. Like the skins can be thicker or thinner, or the grape can be bigger, etc. Depending on all those details. So I like that of Listan Blanco, but also Malvasia is beautiful, is resilient, is a strong variety where, that teaches me every year, not only in the vineyards, but also in the winery. Negramol, I don't know, I guess I'm an activist pro Negramol.
You're very good. I like your Negramol. It's very good. Let's do Negramol. Tell me something. I mean, you mentioned this to me. You said you've had a lot of hot vintages recently, hot and dry, and like a lot of Spain. 2019, 22, I think 23, all been hot vintages. Do you find that ungrafted vines and old vines cope better with the heat and the drought and the lack of rainfall?
I'm not sure. I'm not, of course, an expert at all, and I haven't worked with grafted vines. But I would say that I find several reasons to answer yes to that. The fact that you have a plant that potentially is going to be growing or developing for decades because of the ungrafted, the fact that it's its own roots, so to start with, is a native, sort of, so to speak, to the place. So that would help, I guess, not need an adaptation. The other one is American, so that is another advantage, I believe. And also grafting. You have now we are learning a lot about pruning, and how to maintain the vitality and the health of the plant, and we are learning how important it is even not to knock trunks, etc. So a big hurt is a big deal for a plant,
I think that's very true.
So from all those points of view, I would say that it has some advantages also.
Let's talk about your winemaking style, because some people call it low intervention. I've seen you called a natural winemaker, but I don't think you are a natural winemaker because you use a little bit of sulfur, if that's what a natural winemaker is. I mean, what would you call your style? Is it? I mean, I think of you as being sort of intuitive in a way that you I always think you're a person who feels wines as much as you make them. I mean, I don't know. Is that accurate?
Thank you. I think it is, Tim. Thank you. I wouldn't call myself a natural winemaker. I don't really understand that term neither. But I do make artisan wine. That's what I do. That's what I guess small wineries like mine, working everything, handcrafted, etc. That's what we do mainly.
I like that artisan wine. That's good. Yeah, it's less dogmatic than natural wine, isn't it? In a way, but I mean, you do use lots of these old techniques. You're fermenting in pine lagars, chestnut casks. You're aging in older wood. Demijohns, sherry casks, and you don't use temperature control. So, how do you make sure that your wines are, are clean? I mean, are you very, very focused on making sure that nothing goes wrong? Because you're on a high wire in a way, aren't you, with making that style of wine?
Yeah, I don't. Well, one thing that we have introduced with these higher temperatures, etc., that we experience every year for a while already, is a fridge in the winery. You know, so that is a temperature control device that I use.
Why is it a fridge inside? Because it's so hot outside. Yeah.
Yes, it's warm, like the vintage, like picking the grapes in the current conditions means bringing the grapes at certain temperature, and that um, I guess I would have to control more things or be willing to control stuff in other ways in the winery, which I'm not. So for me, a tool would be to cool it down so that the grapes are in the conditions to start a fermentation as mild and and nice as possible. So that is a tool that I'm using.
Yeah.
I'm using a little bit of sulfur at the moment, probably more than in previous years.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because of that as well, fermentations. I mean, it's challenging now viticulture in these conditions with all vines. So bringing nutrients enough for the plant to thrive, and not only thrive, but to storage energy and and como se dice, release beautiful grapes in balance, etc., is challenging. And fermentations are now getting longer as well. Since 2018, I've had many fermentations in the winery, actually, that could last more than 1 year or even 2 years. So that's risky.
Is that because the yeasts are less active, are they?
Yes, yes. So we are very much in trying to enrich, the soils in a way that the plant, but also without rain, it's difficult. We still farm, do dry farming everywhere, although I have the possibility of irrigating in some of the plots. I haven't I haven't done it yet, and also I couldn't if I wanted in some areas. So that is a limiting thing. So we try to think and adapt and make it. But talking about the winery processes, I don't know. I guess I'm interested in in a kind of like a classical reduction process in the sense of putting things into a minimal, and I trust also very much those vines and what they deliver. So I'm not a freak controller neither, so that helps me as well.
That's good. I think that's good, Dave. You'll sleep better. One of the things I wanted to ask you is you didn't start making wine till you were 35. I'm sorry to remind you.
Yeah.
Do you wish you started earlier? Do you sometimes think, you're very young still, I think, at heart, and you're pretty young, in terms of years, but do you wish you started earlier? Do you sometimes think, God, I wish I'd started when I was 25?
I guess I don't know. I don't speculate with that, but of course, it would have been very different to have really very clear that that's what I wanted to do and dive deeper. Now that I'm getting older, I start to develop a little bit of nostalgia in a way of things that hasn't happened. Like, wow, if I wanted to plant a vineyard of Listan Prieto now, these things, like, I'm not saying it's late. I don't feel that way, but it's, it's a lifetime thing. And you have one shot every year, no, to get,
to get it right. Yeah.
To get the expression, of what you're doing, etc. And vineyards take decades, no, to and now in these conditions with lack of rain, etc., and the degradation of that fact, together with no younger people, taking over, etc.
Generational relevo generacional, the next generation taking over, really. I just wonder, is there anywhere else you'd like to make wine? If you you haven't got time, you're busy doing your own wine, but do you think, I'd like to make wine in, I don't know, Burgundy or Tuscany or
South Africa? I don't know. I have to say that let's see, I haven't traveled that much, but I think I'm in love with Priorat landscape and energy. And also I love Nebbiolo and Sangiovese as varieties. And also I would say, and Lanzarote is an island that strikes me as the most, impactful sea landscape ever. Gets me emotional.
I'm going in March. I can't wait to go.
Yeah, it's an amazing island. Yeah.
How do you get away from wine? Last question. I mean, I get the impression that you're very active. You like being in the vineyards and you like being outdoors. Is that how you relax? Walking, being in nature, or do you like cooking? Do you like reading? I mean, you're very smart. I mean, how do you spend your time away from wine?
I like to. I need movement. Yes, I enjoy nature, and nature calms me, and brings me to serenity in a way, and helps me think, and helps my thoughts. Walk paths and etc. So either the sea or the mountain are my places, and I enjoy very much being outdoors. But also vineyards are a great place. Like not all of them, not all of my plots have that kind of impact. Some places are more intimate than others, and some places for me have this sense, like they root me, see. So that's important. Yeah.
Brilliant. Listen, I can't wait to come and see you in La Palma. Just talking to you about the vineyards and tasting the wines has made me think, I've got to go there. So it's on the list. It's on my bucket list. I'm going to see you soon. Hope to see you in London or in Spain, somewhere around the world. I love what you do. I think it's brilliant. Thank you for being on the podcast and for sharing your passion and your knowledge of La Palma.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Tim.
Vicky conveys both emotion and a sense of place in her wines that really comes across when she talks about her life and work. Next week on Cork Talk, my guest is Craig Vessels from Restless River in South Africa's Upper Hemlanada Valley. Join me then. Thanks for listening to Cork Talk. If you want to read more reports, articles and tasting notes by me, go to my website, timatkin.com. You can also follow me on Twitter @TimAtkin and on Instagram @TimAtkinMW. See you next week.